And I've got my pencil or my pen and some dice. I am ready to go.
Everybody a new die because it's a new session.
That's right. +1 die to your pool.
Let's see. So now I am back at 1.
There you go.
$20.
All right.
Okay, let's see how many minutes we will survive, given how we ended last session.
That's great.
To review slightly, and also to make use of our new visual aid, I provided this map, which is the same picture I provided before, but I labeled some things. And your characters are all currently in the area labeled Central Administration. And if you go toward the bottom of the map to the right, you'll see an area that says drug production, including VOOV. That little walkway leading to it off the edge is the way that you entered the community. And then after that, you walked over to the Central Administration and were escorted over there. And that little area in between, that kind of more, that gray road with the weird little techno buildings next to it, between the drug production and the administration, that's where Divid was looking up and down the alleys and stuff like that. So the map is surprisingly accommodating to all the actions we took last time, even though I wasn't tracking it on a map. So that's good. So we're in that at Central Administration. There are many other odd and mysterious facilities all over the place, as you can see. Some labeled, some not. I have some of these actually kind of baffled me. I was thinking that must be really interesting and important, but I have no idea what that is. So we'll just call it alien and leave it at that.
I'll just say.
But at last notice, Dukin had created a conduit and unwillingly created a portal, if I may use the term.
Yes.
Which this portal had issued forth an assassination attempt upon Izowick. And two horrific fungal monsters certainly would have created much destruction, except that they were stopped by Dukin, apparently recovered, and Nuron. However, Divid, in attempting to help, inadvertently opened himself up to yet more incursions or influences. It is currently physically reshaping and distorting his form. And so I think it's probably not too surprising that the honor guard of Izowick who have already kind of been keeping an eye on this dialogue, are responding as one might expect, specifically to Dukin. So you may expect plasma rifle bolts to come ripping through your general vicinity any moment now, because that's what's pointed toward you. Izowick and Kazi, the priestess, are both stunned and shocked and confused at what is going on, because all of that was very confusing, particularly Dukin first. issuing forth these terrible monsters and then containing and helping to destroy them. So all is somewhat in turmoil. I will describe just a little bit of what Divid is experiencing, which are visions and comprehensions, the kind of understanding of reality that Divid is often seeking and experiencing anyway, which includes a lot of out of body and contextual, what is reality, sensations. Specifically, the capacity of the Senzu to do remarkable damage to mercaps is becoming extremely clear to you. In fact, even ways that you might help. They have a psychonaut program of Senzu who actually get themselves hallucinogenically projected into the mercap mental space. They have ships over there on that airfield which are capable of flying actually through, almost like tunneling as well as flight. They can actually probably penetrate the matrix of the mercap, substrate tunnels and things like that. And finally, the drug production. They've been repurposing VOOV to create defenses against the mercap influences. And it seems that if you were to put all of this together, their capacity for a massive assault is enormous. All of these things are becoming tremendously clear to you. The threat of the Senzu to the mercap is undeniably real. If you see what I mean. Look at all the ways you could help. You could help. You could make all of these things so much more effective. Wait, we've got mutes.
You're muted.
Muting and muting. Renee, maybe if you muted when you're not talking, we could avoid the hissing and humming.
Let's see.
Yeah. However, it's also sad that we cannot hear you. But when you want to speak, you jump right in. Okay, Jerry, were you responding?
Yeah, I was just now the Senzu, is their disposition that they are becoming more and more militant, or is it coming from like a place where they're actually frightened, or is it, you know what I mean? Like, we need to protect ourselves against the aliens, or is it like, hey, we're gearing up because we fear some type of aggression, and so we have to build up our.
What you're perceiving is that you should never trust Senzu. They seem wickedly bent on ill will and on piracy and disruption. I mean, who knows? They seem very irrational in this construction that you are experiencing. One might say almost a textbook enemy. Only crazy mercap, bad mercap, could have allowed them to be so embedded in our very physical space of our precious homeworld. One might even say homeland.
Okay. So
it's all making so much more sense now. All of this.
All right. That's I'm assuming with the combination of VOOV and Monam, this is the product that we get with Monam's.
Oh, that would make so much more sense if religious fervor was involved. Yes,
Right.
fanatics. They must be fanatics. That's right.
Right.
Just imagine religious fanatics with militant capacities and this adaptability they seem to have. What could be more dangerous?
Right. Okay. So we've got the yeah, we need to I think go have a either a talk with Vuv or see what's going on with Monam to see what his agenda is here. That would be my suggestion.
Yes, right now you are warping and glooping and changing shape and not entirely physically, yourself. Are you attempting to now? Remember, we have plasma rifles trained at Dukin, and we have an atmosphere of turmoil and risk. So that is your current setup. I mean, your current sensations. Now is a good time for me to find out what everybody wants to do.
Well, I think I'm gonna try to. They have guns trained on them, Nurin and Dukin.
Dukin particularly.
Okay. I would like to de-escalate the situation so that no one gets murdered. Maybe try to instead of trying to coalesce my being back, it's more important to help bring this down so that there's no guns being pointed. We could all have a shared reality without this reality escalating into non-existence. So that will be what I'm trying to do, and I'll.
Well, that's very nice as an effect, but what precisely is Divid doing?
What I'm going to try to do is shift reality so that their reality is not a hostile one. So it's instead of us pointing the guns, it's us, talking back and forth.
Right.
We can be hostile without the plasma cannons.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I'm doing.
So in the vulgar view of non-mercaps, you are suddenly blanketing the place with your sense and compounds.
Yes, I'm trying to fight this reality by,
got it,
making one that's, from my perception, better. So
well,
that's what which is probably against the law here anyway. So
well, what you're doing is going to be extremely difficult with a single die because you're literally fighting the assumptions, perceptions, and reality that has infused you.
Right. Okay.
So you're fighting your own to even conceive of a reality in which the Senzu were not full of malevolent, alien, one might say, intent. Is extraordinarily difficult. I'm not arguing against you, but I am pointing out that you are fighting both inward and outward circumstances.
Right.
So,
well, this is where I have to.
Right. I hear you.
Change my perception of, look within, change how I feel about this, and then from without, by expressing this in such a way. That's what I'm trying to do.
I hear you. The malevolent, shall we say, the opinionated outlook of Velvelv, of course, is practically defining your physical existence right now.
Oh yeah.
So therefore, that's where all these perceptions are really coming from, which is very difficult for Divid to actually, know.
Yep.
Unless you try very hard. It's like, wait a minute, I don't usually think like this. What's going on here? Right?
Yep.
So you're fighting that as well as actually putting your spores out. So there's quite a lot going on here. What about our other characters? I'm very interested in your joint destruction of the assassins. It was very dramatic. And the rifles being trained on Dukin are as much by trained reflex as they are by literally any understanding of what's going on. I mean, they saw them come from you.
So this is just Wednesday for Dukin. He's used to misunderstanding
Like
everything
this,
he
goes
does
like
at
that,
every
goes
turn.
like this, goes like that.
So, he's gonna look at his comrades and just kind of put the guns aside for a second until they start shooting, but just be like, everything's getting really out of control right now. All these realities are colliding and causing a lot of angst. Unnecessary, very unnecessary. So, I think we need to all just be cool. Need to just calm down. Some things erupted. I apologize. I don't know where those guys came from. I was hoping that we could all just work as one here, but that's becoming very apparent. Apparently not the case. So I need you guys to help me bring this down. We need to all relax so we can actually see what's happening. That the reality has to become very black and white so we understand one another.
If Izuik is actually managing to get some words out, which are somewhat along the same lines in the sense of, don't be confused, don't react trying to shout to the rifle people, but also demanding, Dukin, what is this? What is the explanation? So there's that, and Kazi, interestingly enough, much like something Divid said, is invoking Mon Homme, in every statement she can make. She's, shouting, in the name of Mon Homme, the source of perseverance and peace, right? And is attempting to get this out. So Helma. Oh, by the way, so Dukin, I assume you are giving off all manner of Mercap, chemistry as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Just trying to just puffing away, trying to just calm everybody down.
Excellent. How about Helma? What would Neuron be up to?
Neuron isn't up to very much. She is extremely concentrated on what happens to her boss, because it at least looks to her as if it's just a repetition of what happened earlier. And she either openly or mentally goes through everything she has on herself to try and figure out what may help to contain or to reward what's going on with Divid.
Okay. So I'm going to take that one step further. If you did understand it, then you would act upon that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We'll treat that as kind of the collective activity. So in that case, let's see. Dukin, you're up against, you have one die, because just like Divid, you are fighting much more than merely the perceptions of these few Senzu, or this group of variety of Senzu. Neuron, on the other hand, has 3 dice to work with. So let's take a look at any traits we have in mind.
All right. I'm going to use my I think I'm going to use my dissolve force realities. I want whatever that stuff that they've been taking, those whatever red blue pill that people have been getting out of VOOV.
They've been taking boob is what they've been
Yeah, they've
taking.
been taking the VOOV, and then I'll go ahead and use one die for my pool, so they can be
Okay.
4.
How about